Costa Rica is home to more than 500,000 species, which represents nearly 4% of the total species estimated worldwide. This makes Costa Rica one of the top countries with the highest biodiversity in the world. Environmental conservation is a top priority in Costa Rica. In fact, there are 11 conservation areas that have been established by the Ministry of the Environment and Energy and the National System of Conservation Areas, which manages the conservation and sustainable use of the country's biodiversity. A little over 25% of Costa Rica is under some sort of protection. Costa Rica is able to support an enormous variety of wildlife due to its geographic position between the North and South American continents, its neotropical climate, and its wide variety of habitats. The various ecosystems that allow for such high biodiversity include tropical rainforests, deciduous forests, the coastlines of the Atlantic and the Pacific, cloud forests, and mangrove forests. Within these regions are 12 climatic zones, providing a number of niches for a variety of species. Hundreds of the species that reside in Costa Rica are endemic to that country, meaning they do not exist anywhere else on the planet, some of which include hummingbirds.
Does anybody know what's more important than birds? You're right. Nothing in the world is more important than birds.
For our project, we explored the differences in hummingbird diversity in Costa Rica and Illinois. There are between 325 and 340 species of hummingbirds in the world. Hummingbirds are small, colorful birds with iridescent feathers. Their name comes from the fact they flap their wings so fast, about 80 times per second, that they make a humming sound. Hummingbirds can fly right, left, up, down, backwards, and even upside down. They are also able to hover by flapping their wings in a figure-8 pattern. They have a specialized, long and tapered bill that is used to obtain nectar from the center of long, tubular flowers. The hummingbird's feet are used for perching only and are not used for hopping or walking.
So they see a whole different layer of colors and patterns that we aren't even aware of. And in a lot of birds, their predators aren't aware of those colors. So for example, hawks, like more ancient families of birds, don't see as far into the UV spectrum. So if you're a bird and you want to avoid a predator, you want to kind of have dull colors, right? You want to blend in. But you can have patterns on your wings that are into the UV spectrum far enough where a hawk wouldn't notice them. So it's kind of like secret communication that your predator can't see, right? And so as we're walking around, it's fun to look at these flowers and check for slits in them, so you can see if they've been robbed or not by nectar robbers. That's actually a behavior that can be learned between different species of hummingbirds. You guys remember the purple-throated mountain gem? They're really bright, the turquoise and purple. Some individuals of that species have been seen observing striped-tailed hummingbirds, the nectar robbers, observing them and kind of going in and going after where they just poke their holes.
In Costa Rica, there are more than 50 species of hummingbirds. One of the main reasons why Costa Rica has so much biodiversity is because it is home to many tropical rainforests, and therefore receives much more energy from sunlight and water compared to other regions. This allows for a perfect environment for many species to thrive. A particular area that we visited was the Monteverde cloud forest, which, as you can see from this video, is home to a wide variety of hummingbird species. The cloud forest is a particularly suitable environment for hummingbirds due to its high floral diversity, as it houses multitudes of plant species that are restricted to these high moisture conditions. Two hummingbird species that we saw at the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve were violet saberwings and magenta-throated woodstars. The violet saberwing is native to Mexico through Costa Rica to western Panama. They are typically found at higher elevations ranging from 1,500 to 2,200 meters, but may descend to lower elevations outside of the breeding season. Violet saberwings are very large compared to other hummingbirds, weighing up to 11.5 grams and measuring 5 to 6 inches in length. These hummingbirds get their name from their color, obviously, and their long, saber-like outermost primary feathers. The magenta-throated woodstar is a non-migratory hummingbird and is only found in southern Central America along the Pacific slope of the isthmus. They can be found at elevations ranging from 700 to 1,800 meters. Magenta-throated woodstars are typically around 3.5 inches in length and weigh about 3.5 grams. Like the ruby-throated hummingbird, the male only sports the distinctive magenta throat, hence the name. Unlike Costa Rica, there is only one species of hummingbird that breeds in Illinois, the ruby-throated hummingbird. This particular hummingbird is actually the only species that breeds east of the Mississippi. When in Costa Rica, the ruby-throated hummingbird resides in the northwestern Pacific area as well as the western Central Valley. The ruby-throated hummingbird is small in size with bright green coloring on their backs and white underneath. Again, only the males have the iridescent ruby red throat. Most ruby-throated hummingbirds spend the winter in Central America and fly over the Gulf of Mexico to get there from North America. They come back to North America for the summers because the flowers they feed on are abundant during this time. The migration may take up to 3 months through March, April, and May. During the long journey, the ruby-throated hummingbird may stop along the way near the Yucatan Peninsula or Alabama to refuel and recharge. Why is there only one species of hummingbird in Illinois? Based on research and data, the speciation of hummingbirds began in the tropics, and records say that only 12 million years ago, hummingbirds moved back to North America after the glaciation. It is possible that they have been moving back to North America very slowly, and the ruby-throated hummingbird is the only species that has made its way up north. Recently, there have been increased sightings of hummingbirds outside their normal range. It is suspected that changes in climate are playing a role. Perhaps with climate change, other hummingbird species will move further north, but it may take many years. Another possible reason why their movement has been slow is because temperate regions are not abundant in nectar and are too sensitive to the inconsistent climate. To conclude, Costa Rica's immense biodiversity makes it possible for a large group of the world's hummingbird population to find a home with abundant resources and ideal climatic conditions for their survival. Illinois, however, is limited in its ability to provide for such unique creatures. Luckily, Illinois is still able to house one species of these amazing avian animals.